Hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie, and welcome to Dimos Intuitive Arts Reflections for Real Life. This is a new YouTube channel platform for us, but Demos Intuitive Arts has been around for over 12 years. And what we do and who we are is something that we are really, really excited to share on different platforms to continue to create and grow our community. We are a collaborative group of people who offer in-person workshops, virtual workshops, and hybrid forms that combine creative outlets and creative approaches that connect and weave to individual wellness. And so this was just a very natural progression for us. Our intention with this channel is to offer out a reflection for real life once a week. So if you subscribe, you'll get the notification when we drop our newest videos every week. And we offer them out as an opportunity for you to hit the pause button on your life and digest something that perhaps will be so meaningful and aid in your individual growth, evolution, and wellness. One of the things that I'm most comfortable doing is using artwork, whether it's by well-known artists or by unknowns, to really ponder some thoughts that are deeply profound. And so today, I'd like to invite you to look at a piece of artwork by someone who is so familiar. I mean, you've seen it on t-shirts and you've seen it on tote bags, sides of buses, bookmarks, and that is Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. So this piece, and I really wish I had the original, and someday we may be zooming in from in front of the original. But Starry Night has a really wonderful, interesting story behind it that you may or may not know. So Vincent van Gogh, although we know him as such a prolific and amazing and modern artist in his approach, when he painted Starry Night, he actually was hospitalized. And this was not the first time, and it wouldn't be the last. But when he painted this painting, his internal voice matched his external circumstances. And there was a huge degree of uncertainty and chaos going on in his life. So people have looked at Starry Night, come from all different fields of research. There are people who are coming from the way he painted from an optical perspective and believe that he had something going on internally, which made him view the world exactly as we see it in his painting. Other people use the symbolism of the brushstroke to sort of connect with his tumultuous and chaotic internal voice. Regardless, it's a magnificent painting that has so much movement that really does capture for many people, including myself, what it feels like when there's a lot of undercurrent of movement in your life. And yet, even though he was going through that, which is a very, very human experience, he was able to see the beauty in the stars and the light from the moon beyond. And that's really what this reflection is about. So, although it's one of the most recognized pieces in the world, I like to make a personal connection because for me, there have been times and moments in my life where things were not particularly calm. And there might have been moments, which do continue where you feel worried, unsure, overwhelmed, and anxious. And yet, even in those seasons like Van Gogh, there are still points of light that can be found. And I offer that out to you today. So, how do we find those points of light? Some things that work for me is I oftentimes am in conversation with another person who I feel very safe with. And maybe this platform offers you a sense of safety because that's one of our prime goals in community for people to feel safe. Oftentimes, I'll take a quiet walk outside, and although I'm notorious for listening to podcasts or music, um, offering a walk out there without any stimulation to deter me from really listening to nature and the sounds around me. Even if you're in an urban environment, you can really connect with something that allows you to take down that chaos in your life and be a little bit more peaceful. So, this painting reminds me that life really doesn't have to be perfect for beauty to be present. And again, it's unfortunate that Van Gogh never tried to experience that. Unlike Van Gogh, one of our go-tos, or at least mine is, as soon as I start to feel unsure and overwhelmed, like, oh, I have to try and fix it. And there's this need that I experience periodically that I have to fix it in order to find inner peace. But fixing it doesn't always provide that level of inner peace I might be seeking. Perhaps there is an outlet, the way Van Gogh created this painting, that you can find and that I always look for myself. We can wait for the storm, that tumultuous storm, to pass. And we can also wait for that uncertainty to become certainty. Everything doesn't always need to be perfectly tidy for it to feel resolved, but all of these small little suggestive acts can lead you to a little bit more inner peace, which then affords us a deeper connection to resolve. Vincent van Gogh shows us that beauty can exist right in the middle of imperfection, and the light can still shine even when life feels unsettled. Unfortunately, Van Gogh did not live long enough to reap the benefits of the power of his art and the inspiration that it had on so many. But it's up to us to find the beauty in the things that surround us. So, using this as a quiet companion for self-reflection, I'd like to invite you to have a special place. I always ask my students, I'm like, have a little special notebook, just for these reflections. And they are so wonderful at indulging me. If you have a little notebook, something you bought that you haven't used yet, or maybe something you're already using, and go from the back to the front, write some of these reflections down. And as you digest them during the week or during the days that follow you seeing these reflections, you might create a little place and space that's full of personal reflections that help you toward your evolution to the best person that you are trying to create. Not for me and not for anybody else, just for you. So today's question, based on that piece I just shared with you, is, where in your life might there still be some light, even where things are feeling unsettled? So this is the beginning of the month. Just as a little human example, a lot of people sit down to do their bills at the beginning of the month, and that creates a lot of unsettled feelings. Whether you're chugging along and everything's great, it's still a chore that is not always something that people are so looking forward to. Yay, let's go pay some bills. But using that as an example, perhaps instead of leaning into that unsettled feeling, or maybe some feelings of anxiousness, you take a few moments and look back at this question and identify some of those lights that might exist. In closing, I just want to thank you so very much for spending this time with me today. Again, there'll be others that will be joining us periodically. If this reflection spoke to you in some small or big way, please don't hesitate to reach out. We invite you to offer your thoughts about the conversation. You can find a lot more of our reflective practices, workshops, retreats, in-person, hybrid, virtual, at our website, demosintuitivearts.com. And if you feel called, use that small reflection book as a place to gather your thoughts, your questions, and your insights as they unfold. I'd like to end by sending you so much love, deeply from my heart to yours, sending you also the biggest hugs so you feel safe and supported and valued for just being the person you are. And of course, always endless inspiration. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing more of you in the future. Stay well.